Thanks again for joining us for an update from the city of New Hope. Happy once again to talk with the mayor, Kathi Hemken. Hello, Mayor. How are you today?
Hi, Dave. Just fine. Warm, but fine.
Yes, it is a little toasty, and we've got some warm things to talk about in the city and some activities that are going to get you outside. Let's begin, though, by talking about the water. Because of the warm, we have a little bit of trouble with the water. Tell us a little bit about the water situation in New Hope and what residents need to be doing.
Well, Crystal, New Hope, and Golden Valley have a joint water commission, and they have a contract with the city of Minneapolis because that's where we get our water from. And when the city of Minneapolis puts in a watering ban, we have to do the same thing per the contract. And so for us, that watering ban means absolutely no watering between noon and 6. However, they've also put in something called the odd and even. So if your house number is even, that would be like the 02468, and it's the date on the calendar is 02468, then you can water on that day, but not between noon and 6.
Mhm.
And if you're an odd number, that would be 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. Look at the calendar. If they match, then you can water on those days. Now, the exceptions to that is you can water, you use a hose to water your flowers and your vegetables and your bushes. If you've got new sod in the last couple of weeks, you can water that, but you have to water it with a hose, not with a sprinkling system.
Mhm.
And trees, you can water with a bucket or a drip hose on the tree if that needs to be watered. Again, not between noon and 6.
Okay.
The reason for that is that's when most of the evaporation happens. And so if you're going to water, they want you to water the most efficient way you can. And that's before noon or after 6 at night. Because we don't want the trees and bushes and vegetables to die.
Certainly. How unusual is this for the city of New Hope? Have you had to do this in recent years or in the past 10, 20 years even?
Not in my memory, we haven't.
Mhm.
But the Mississippi River is so down, and they're really worried about the integrity of that river. And so this is the time to put that watering ban in. I did notice on Sunday, my water pressure was really low. And so I think part of that is, we fill up our water towers on the Sunday nights,
Mhm.
and then the water pressure is better on Mondays, of course. And as it gets to the end of the week, the water pressure is a little lower, just
Interesting.
because a lot of water has been used. So
Mhm.
please be very, very conservative if you can.
And if you have questions about that or need more information about the odd even and some of the restrictions or exceptions, go to the city's website, newhopemn.gov. Let's talk a little bit about people being recognized at the council meeting. And this is because of COVID, a number have stacked up here. What is happening at upcoming meetings?
Well, about 6 months ago, we promoted Tim Hoyt to be our police chief. Well, because of COVID, we couldn't officially swear him in public. And that's a really big deal. So he's going to be sworn in tonight. He'll be in full dress uniform and his family will get to be there. We're also swearing in a couple sergeants, Mike Tenet, and I got to get the name right, Chris Sawson. Those are 2 new sergeants, and they will also be sworn in. The reason we want to do it in public, we want their families to be there, and we really want to recognize them for being such a great asset to the community.
And that swearing in again happening on the Monday night as we record this at the city council meeting. 2022 budget, it's that time once again. Tell us about some of the steps that happened in that budget process and what's happening right now.
Well, about February or March, they start working on the budgets for the next year. And my city manager, Kirk McDonald, goes through every single department's budget line by line with them. And do you really need that? Or do we have to add something to this? So when they get that all put together, we go to AEM, which is the financial institution we use, and they put together this budget. And then they decide on what would be the maximum levy. And they will then bring that to the city council in September. We'll vote on that. And what we vote on is the maximum levy. So as the time goes by and it gets closer to December, we will be able to look at that and see if we can reduce it some more. But we have to vote on a maximum levy, and that'll happen in September. So we'll get those books in September, and then the council will go over each department's budget line by line once again. We want to make sure we're not spending money where money shouldn't be spent. Or just sign off just because it's easier to do that.
We'll keep residents up to date as the process moves along. Community development, a number of things happening here. First is Windsor Ridge. The good work there continues to go on, and that is a hot area. Tell us about that.
Is that's that area over by the railroad tracks about on 52nd Quebec. And the city owned that piece of land and it was just trees and, well, scrap trees, actually. We sold that land to a developer and they're building something called Windsor Ridge. 32 homes are being built there. Actually, 19 have been sold, built and sold for a combination of about 421 a piece. That's really a beautiful, beautiful home. So that when that's done, it'll be a lovely, lovely neighborhood.
Fantastic. Work continues there. Metropolitan Council related to housing. We wanted to bring residents aware of some scoring that is done on a regular basis, what that score means and how the city utilizes that information. Give us a little background here.
The Met Council wants cities to have a good mix of housing. So low income housing, medium income, and some high income housing. And so they have a score sheet that they use. And since 2020 or 2016, I'm sorry, since 2016, our score has been going up every year. And it's now just under 90, which is a good score because 100 is the best they can do. So what they do is they look at how much the city is doing to encourage all the different types of housing, the programs we put in to keep people, to help people stay in their houses if they can, how we can convert some of our housing stock, which is a scattered site housing program, and the ordinances and rules that we put in to help people to stay in their houses and get some help with staying in them that they can. So we're really proud of the fact that we've got an 89.281 score.
Very good. Congratulations to the city for that work. The Rave Awards, we've talked about those over recent months here, and now all of the entries are in. Tell us about the process now.
So the Rave Award is what we give out to people that have gone above and beyond to fix not only the outside, but the insides of their houses. So all of the entries are in, and now we've got a group of folks that are going out and they will inspect people's gardens. They will inspect the outside. Like if you put in a cool egress window, that could be one of the things they're looking at, or some remodeling that's done inside. And then they pick winners in each category, and those winners will come to the city council and get a really nice engraved rock that they can put outside in their garden. And
very nice.
It's just kind of a fun thing to do.
All right, more to come on that. We'll let you know as those are picked. City Services Survey, giving you an update here. Those surveys continue to come back in, but Mayor, you're always looking for more response. Is that correct?
We are. We're up to 450, which is good. I think our maximum is around 900. So we're about halfway there. We really do read every single survey that comes in. And if you put any comments in the bottom and you want to call back, city staff is looking at that and they'll be starting those callbacks this week now. So they'll call you back and get an explanation if you want one, or tell you how we came upon that decision to do something or other. So in that survey, you can actually tell us how you think we're doing, what we can do to improve, and we look at those and we try to improve.
Very good. You mentioned scattered site housing earlier. Let's bring residents up to date on some of the activity that's happening. First, the home on Louisiana. That is moving right along, correct?
Yep, they closed on that last week. We have a young family with 2 or 3 kids moving into that. So add a few kids to our neighborhoods. It's beautiful. We got to tour it last week. It's just a lovely job they did on that.
And then let's hop over to Pennsylvania. We told you about the tree that was there. How are we doing on getting rid of the tree?
Well, we found a contractor and we signed the contract, and they've got 2 weeks to remove it. So you'll hear and see some activity going on. I'm sorry, but it's noisy. It's noisy to cut up a tree and put it in the chipper and all that stuff.
You bet.
That tree will be off in 2 weeks.
Very good. And on 47th, we've got the Habitat home. We've got some pictures here to share. The work continues on there. Tell us about that great project.
Well, that's an existing house that Habitat bought, and they're rehabbing it. They've done everything except the studs in the house. So there was some asbestos that they had to remove, but they're getting a new driveway, new windows, new roof, new doors, paint. It's just amazing what they do. Typically, when they do that, they interview people to buy that house. They don't give the house away, but because they can help with the payments on that, they make the payments so that they're affordable to people to buy it. But you have to qualify to move in that house, and you have to live there for a certain number of years before you're able to sell that. So we really are trying to get those older houses fixed up, get them into the hands of a responsible family who's going to live there for a few years and take care of it.
Very nice. One last note under community development, the business networking group, community development, always looking to support businesses, and they've got a meeting coming up. Give us again a preview of that meeting and where it will be held.
It'll be August 4th at 8:30 in the morning. They're going to hold it at City Hall. I'm not sure if it's all in person or they're going to have the capabilities of doing it online. But of course, you can always call Brandon Bell at the city, 531-5114. And Brandon can tell you the information you need if it is going to be online. But do try to come. It's Fair Weather Design is the host of that. And they're the guys that do websites for small and medium-sized businesses. Just interesting to hear how they do that and what they do. And it should be a fun meeting.
Yeah, very timely topic for a lot of businesses. Let's move ahead to the police department and bring people up to date on a few things happening here. We've been talking about the Meals on Wheels and a unique group that went out this past time. Who was it?
I just read that in my Friday update. The police chief and his wife delivered the Meals on Wheels. His wife works for us in utility billing. And so the two of them were out delivering Meals on Wheels. They have a sign-up sheet. And then it was just in the police department, and now they're opening up to all of City Hall. And people are signing up to deliver these meals, and they'll go out with a police officer to deliver them. I think that's pretty special that the city's doing that.
Another way the police are getting out in the community is some were judges recently. Where were they judging?
Well, the Broadway Village has a bunch of folks that decorate their patios. And so the police chief and the community development guy, Brad Callio, and one of the council members, Mike Eisenberg, were out in a golf cart running around Broadway Village, judging these cute patios. And then they had to pick a winner. So I don't know how they did that because they're really kind of unique. And they're all apartments, of course, but the residents really fixed them up cute.
That's fun. What a great community outreach. One other community engagement that's happening is squad car tours. So how do we get a tour of a squad car and where do they go?
Well, a couple of our officers went to a childcare, La Petite, went to the childcare, and when you're little, a squad car seems big. And so they were giving these little kids a tour of the squad car.
Fun.
They'd let them sit in the back and they would show them the stuff inside the car. Of course, there was nothing that was going to be of any danger to them.
Right.
And the kids, of course, thought that was really cool. All part of the police department's community development to get out and be with people and show them that we really are here to help you.
Final note in police, we've been talking about the body worn cameras and the pilot project, and I understand that is coming to a close and things are going to be out in regular form. Give us that update.
The pilot, if you remember right, we got some body cams. We wanted to do a pilot program to make sure that not only the body cam was working, but that the recording of the information is working, and we were able to get that recording back because if they don't work properly, why even have them? So that pilot program went really, really well. They got a few kinks out of it that they needed to. So now this week they'll start rolling those out to the police officers, and we should see them on all our officers by the end of the month, right on schedule.
Next department to talk about is Public Works. They have been very, very busy here during these summer months. Tell us about some of the things they're doing, which includes removing rocks.
Well, Public Works isn't exactly the most exciting thing to residents, but if they don't do what they're doing, then you get excited.
Right.
Well, there were a lot of big rocks in front of City Hall, and we thought that really wasn't a very safe thing to do. So we hired a company to remove them. Public Works helped with that removal, bringing out pylons, making sure that the people removing the rocks had a space to work to do that. So they've been cleaning out the grids that from the lakes, just the junk that collects. They had to rebuild a couple of them. I'm reading my little list. They were spraying for boulevard weeds.
Right.
They cleaned up after the last week. They had the softball and the volleyball tournaments. So of course they have to repair the grass and clean up the ground and stuff like that. So Public Works has been busy. They've been out trying to do all these things to keep our city looking nice.
That's off to the crew. And while they're out and about, there's work going on in their building. Tell us about the Public Works addition, how that is coming along.
Well, the demolition is either just about done or done, depending on what time you're watching this. So the next thing that'll happen is they'll just clean up that demo mess and then they'll start rebuilding the parts they're building. Most of it is being done inside. They're also going to pave part of the parking lot.
Okay.
That's in real bad shape. I did ask them where they're gonna put all that stuff while they're paving. And basically, my city manager said, the director knows.
Very good.
In
It'll
other words,
happen, right? It'll happen.
it'll happen. He'll put it somewhere while they're paving. I just don't know where exactly they're gonna put it.
Very good. Let's move over to Parks and Rec and talk about some of the things happening there. And the Off-Broadway Music Theater is underway, and you went and saw one of the first shows. How is it, and why should residents get out and enjoy?
Well, it's really fun. It's the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. And it's really all about 12 kids, except the kids are played by adults.
Right.
And what they go through, both emotionally and physically, to do this, and the toll it takes on some of these kids. But it's all done in light, and it's cute. It's
Fun.
really cute. So that's a free thing we put on. It's going to be the next 2 weekends, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. The play starts at 8 o'clock. They're asking for a $4 donation if you can afford that, and bring some canned goods for the food shelf if you'd like to do that. They have concessions in the back, and bring a chair because we no longer have bleachers. So bring a chair to sit on, or a blanket to sit on, or if you don't mind that grass tickling your toes, just sit in the grass.
Sounds
But
good.
it really is fun.
Oh, that's fun. And obmt.org to find out more about the show times and again, where everything is located. People are getting ready to get kids wet. What happens on an annual basis, and where does this great sliding event occur?
Well, a few years ago, we had this bright idea, not we, the Park and Rec Department, Wet and Wild. So they get a bunch of tarps and they fasten them together somehow, and they go to that park in Crystal, and I can't think of the name of it at the moment.
Valley Place Park.
Thank you. It's got the biggest hill around.
Yes.
And they put these tarps on the hill, and then the fire department comes in and puts water on the tarps. And the kids basically slide down the tarps to the bottom, and then they run back up the hill and do it again. So there's a fee for that, and I don't know what it is. It's usually around $3-4. The kids just have a ball doing it.
Yeah.
It's really a fun event.
Yeah, sounds like fun. So get out and get cooled off. A couple other things in Park and Recs that are going well are the family activity kits and the science kits. Remind us about those.
Well, they put together some family activity kits that you can rent, just like badminton brackets and birdies and things that you might want to use in the summertime to play with, and you don't want to buy it. So you can rent that and then bring it back. And then the science kits, you can actually buy those and go home and do the science stuff with your kids. So those are available at City Hall. Don't know what the price is, but you can call City Hall, the Park and Rec Department, and they'll tell you what that is.
Sounds good. Let's go to the golf course. How are things going there during this hot summer? Still busy?
It's still busy. I don't understand. Actually, it's really busy. They start playing at 5:30 in the morning.
Oh my.
It's barely light. And it gets a little quiet about 2 in the afternoon till about 4.
Sure.
But there's kids leagues are out there. The adult leagues are still playing. They're renting out the patio for late summer, and that'll continue. And then they'll start renting out the inside for the winter months.
Very good. Let's
So
go over to the ice arena. Ice arena activity still going as well. Not games, but lots of training going on.
Clinics, tons of clinics. They'll teach you how to shoot a putt and how to stop a putt and how to have a good attitude while you're doing it.
There we go.
And how to skate and how to skate backwards. So all these clinics are going on. Again, go online and go into the ice arena. It'll tell you when those clinics are. We do have some men's leagues that play once a week there, and they rent ice. And of course, the ice is rented for kids to practice on too.
Finally, to the Aquatic Park. How are things going there? I have to imagine, again, with hot weather, it is the busiest place in town.
Fabulous, absolutely fabulous. As of last Wednesday, 29,600 people have gone through the pool. So we're still short of lifeguards, only because when the American Heart Association finally was able to train lifeguards, most of the folks, after they got through the training, it was almost too late in the summer for people to get jobs. So they're struggling with trying to move lifeguards around. They're keeping the pool as open as they can, and sometimes they have to close certain pieces of the pool. like the 8 meters might not be open during the day when all the kids are there playing, because they might have to pull those lifeguards. But they're doing what they can to keep as much of it as they can open. And it is so busy. It's wonderful.
That is fantastic. A lot going on, as you see right now, but there will be a lot going on in the near future. And there's some publications coming out to help people understand and plan a little bit. What are those publications and where do we find them?
Well, there's something called In Motion, and that's got all of the park and rec programs, plus some programs that like trips that people are taking and just different things that are going. Don't it make you wonder? So that's at the printer right now, and you should be getting it at your house, and that'll be all the fall stuff. Now, if you don't get it at your house or you live in an apartment, you can always go to City Hall and pick it up, or you can go online. But personally, I find it very difficult for me to go online because I'm not that savvy. So I go to City Hall and pick one up.
Perfect.
And then there's something called In Touch, and that'll come out with your water bill. But again, if you don't get a water bill, go to City Hall and pick that up. Lots of really good, valuable information, fun stuff to do. And we don't want people to miss some of that fun stuff just because they don't live in a house that gets it.
You bet. Speaking of fun stuff, let's spend our last minute here talking about some dates for people's calendars coming up rather quickly here. A lot going on in the city. The first has to do with the fire department and their recruitment efforts. They're doing a unique event.
They are. Our fire department, it's West Metro, so it says Crystal and Minneapolis, or Crystal and New Hope. They're doing an event on August 11th, a barbecue. It's free. They want people to come with their families if you're interested. And not just interested in the barbecue, but also interested in being a paid on-call firefighter. There's some requirements, of course. You have to have a valid driver's license. You have to live within 6 minutes of a fire station, because when there's a fire call, you need to go there. So there's some requirements, but you need to know what those are. And it's a really fun job. And the fire department trains you and they pay you while they're training you. And then they'll actually hire these people in September and October.
Okay.
And then they'll go through the training and they'll be on their own sometime in December. Now, the other things that are going on Fridays, every Friday in front of City Hall is Food Truck Friday.
Right.
And that's 11 to 2. And 3 to 5 food trucks are there. They're different every week. So you can go and see what's there but buy some lunch and go over to the pavilion and sit in the shade and eat it.
Very good.
And then, of course, the farmer's market's going to be open on the 31st from 9 to 1. Farmer's market will run till October. The corn is in, it's very good. So we're getting lots more vegetables. There's a meat guy and some fresh eggs. And last week there was an ice cream truck.
Very nice. So, perfect timing.
Perfect timing. Lots of fun stuff going on there.
And final note again to pass along, we mentioned it earlier, the Off-Broadway Musical Theater. Again, if you want to stop by, where exactly is that and how can people get in and enjoy that show? Okay,
so that is it's at the whole complex of Civic Center. That's where the City Hall is and the pool is. There's a performance center there. And so they're asking for a $4 donation if you can. If not, that's okay too. And it starts at 8 o'clock. So do go, and it'll be this coming weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, and the following weekend.
And again, no bleachers this year with the new setup. So bring your blankets or chairs and you will be set for a great show with some great local entertainment. Well, Mayor, thanks once again for the update. Always appreciate your information. And again, if you want more on some of the topics we covered, go to the city's website, newhopemn.gov. Mayor, thanks again. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks, Dave.
Learn more about The Connection at ccxmedia.org and follow us on social media.